My friends, welcome back to the Smokey Mirror Podcast, where we dive deep into the creative minds that are shaping our culture and inspiring us all. My name is Jordan Jones. I'm your host and fellow creator, and I'm on a mission to spread knowledge and inspiration to help people like you leave your mark on the world. From artists to musicians to entrepreneurs and more, join me as we explore the intentional act of creation and the forces that drive us to do God's work. As always, shout out to our sponsors. We have B&G Cookies, the #1 protein cookie on the planet. 25 grams of protein, only 3 grams of sugar, giving you all the nutrients you need to go through everything and become strong. BNGnow.com, make sure you shop with us. So today I have a really exciting guest in here. I have a gentleman, his name is Bishop. How you doing, Bishop?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. He is a concierge and he sets up exotic luxury experiences for high net worth clients, and I don't really know much about that industry, but it seems interesting to me. So I invited him to come on the podcast, and he was gracious enough with his time to come. So thank you.
Appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do I get to tag along and try out some of those protein?
You know
or if it's just yours, it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's funny. I do want you to try it. The only thing is, it's on my bad. It's my bad. It's a little bit smashed.
Okay, I got you.
Traveling with it, so
no problem.
I want you to try it off camera.
Okay,
it's a little
perfect.
Messy,
I got you.
I want you to try it. I think you'll like it. I think your clients will like it. So
understood.
Absolutely. So first, I really wanted to start off with, I kind of have a guess of what concierge services are, but can you just kind of lay out what it exactly is that means and how it's unique to you?
How is concierge unique to me? Okay, so my name is Bishop. So I am a luxury concierge host here based in Miami. I provide experiences for people that are in the 1%. If you're not the 1%, we make you feel like the 1%. So that's number one. Number two, concierge is a very, very wide range and a wide topic, and also a profession as well too. Mm-hmm. There is really nothing that I can't do or that I necessarily won't do, obviously with immorality. Right. Obviously with immorality. But concierge is really just a middleman, honestly, for people who want certain services, and then that person can actually do and actually deliver it for them. Mm-hmm. So it can be anywhere from cars, yachts, mansions, clubs, private security, villas, private transportation, bars, entertainment events, sporting events. And my job is never ever to say no. Mm-hmm. My job is to say, let me see what I can do for you. Yeah. And that's literally like the foundation of what concierge and also, VIP hosts and promoters and people are in hospitality. Like that's what they do. Like you have to literally, like if I can't figure it out, I'm gonna get somebody else that figures it out. Like I have somebody that has somebody that has somebody. Right. You got a guy for everything. Yeah, man. That's what it is, man. Because a person that is that of a high net worth, and a person who's actually that wealthy, that actually trusts you with either their experience or maybe even their job or whatever a task is, like they don't want to figure it out for themselves. Right. They want to hire you because that's the reason they hire you, because if they can figure it out themselves, they wouldn't need you. Exactly. So, fortunately and unfortunately, concierge can be a level of luxury, but not necessarily necessity until people actually get it. They're like, damn, you know what? I need this host all the time. Mm. So that's actually like one of the things that's unique within that space. And, with us, especially with our company, Bishop Executive Services, there is a middleman for everybody. Anybody can get a yacht. Anybody can get an exotic car. Anybody can get a villa. But for me, I try to actually use the different services that I have for my clients to curate it around the special events that's happening in Miami throughout the year. Mm-hmm. So F1, Fashion Week, Swim Week, Art Basel, Rolling Loud, right. WMC, Ultra, the list goes on. So, that's one of the ways that I try to stay unique and try to separate myself from the pack.
That's interesting. I'm really curious how you got started in that. Are you from Miami or where are you from?
No, I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
So the real story is that I was actually born here in North Miami Beach. Okay. But that hospital is actually not there no more. But I went to New York when I was like 2 months old. So when I tell people that, it's like, bro, you just say that you're from friggin', New York. Like, right. Why are you saying that you're from Miami? So technically speaking, I am from Miami, but
you grew up in New York.
I grew up in New York, yeah. So in 2009, I actually came here to FIU. I was a photographer and videographer, and I was actually not in the space of like hospitality and nightlife whatsoever. I was a creative. I was a creative for fraternities, sororities, departments, Department of Law, nursing, architecture, education, business, and I was actually the person, because basketball wasn't in the cards anymore. And, I played semi-pro. I also played college basketball for AJ Wander. He used to play for the Celtics. I played for his JUCO school. And I came here and I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of, focus on another route, which is like, this is like before Entrepreneur Bishop. This is actually before everything else too. So I was doing like a lot of photo shoots and a lot of video shoots for those particular entities. Cool. And one day, it got to the point where I was doing my thing. I was like, doing shoots, and, it was cool, but like, money wasn't necessarily like, I wasn't making ends meet. Right. Like I was a poor college student, just trying to like, make it. Yeah. And I also wanted to make it, but I also wanted to be a man as well too, because at the same time, like I had like, my aunt that raised me, shout out to her, God bless her. She kept on, giving me money, obviously, because she wanted me to like, survive. But for me, I got to the point, because I was like, I was a little bit older too. So I was like about maybe 22, 23. And I just really felt bad about like just getting money from my aunt, especially when like, it just didn't necessarily feel right. Times like she was taking care of me, she was doing her thing, whatever, she looks out. But like, I just wanted to like really step into my own. Mm-hmm. So one day I called her. I was like, I need you to cut me off. Mm. So usually like when people mess up and, they fall on their, face and they don't necessarily get up the way they're supposed to, and they try to take advantage of certain things, usually the family is the one that actually cuts the child off. Right. But I actually called her. I was like, look, I want to be my own man. I need you to cut me off. I don't need you to send me any more money whatsoever, ever. You know what I'm saying? And, my family's Caribbean, so that did not necessarily go too well, because because they were like, oh, what the hell did I say? Like, like they started yelling and all that, because she just did not understand like why I did not want her to support me anymore. So hung up the phone, and after that, I was like, okay, well, I got to find a job. So I'm the type of person that I always like build planes in the air. Yeah. I never really think at all, honestly. Like I just like to throw shit in the. Can I curse? My bad.
Yeah, you curse.
Okay, perfect. So like, I always like to throw shit on the wall and see what sticks. Yeah. That's kind of like my MO and like how I am as a person. And I was just like, damn, you know what, man? Like I gotta like really find a job. So fast forward, I hit up my colleague that went to FIU, Jonathan Medical. So I hit him up on the. On Facebook Messenger. This was Facebook Messenger was like really popping. Yeah. It's like, 2011, 2012, I think. Yeah. Like 2000. See, I always get this mixed up. It's 2011, I do believe, going into 2012. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, John, I need a job, man. And he was actually one of the head bodyguards for David Grutman and his private clients at Live. Cool. Live was open for about maybe 6 years. It opened up in 2007. Yeah. So I hit him up. I was like, listen, I need a job. Like, can you please, bless me, man? Like, I really need to like figure this out. He's like, well, I would give you a job at Live, but there's no spaces. But there's a sister club that's being open right now the next week called Story Nightclub. Wow. So I opened up Story in 2012. So he's like, look, go there, ask for Jay Pink and Patrick Fleming. They're my head of security and assistant head of security. They'll talk to you. I went there Christmas Day, because the next day, the 26th, they were about to be open. Mm-hmm. So all he told me was, do your thing, have a conversation with them. I'll put in good word with you, and do not make me look bad. Don't embarrass me. That's actually like kind of a saying when it comes to like in the hospitality, right? Where like, if you put somebody on into, especially in like a job like that, like reputation is everything. Yeah. But like reputation is like almost the only thing when it comes to hospitality. Sure. Like if you have a reputation, like you have to protect it with your life. But in hospitality, like it's like bro, it's platinum, bro. Because like the world of hospitality is so small that like if people know that you don't necessarily like are a good person, or if you refer bad people, then like that gets back to you, and then like it's smut on your name. Yeah. So Yeah, man, got the job. And then after that, didn't really do an interview. They just saw me, saw my height and my size. Like, yep, you're hired. Cool.
Right.
So I did security for David Grumman and also his private clients as well, too. And I worked there for about 4 to 5 years. And then after that, then I went to private security. Then I went to private security to luxury concierge. And I've been in nightlife and hospitality for over a decade.
Wow. All right. So we fast forwarded.
I know you're gonna ask questions. So
that's interesting. I love. So I mean, what I'm getting there is like networking is everything. Like you knew him, he trusted you. He said, "Yeah, don't embarrass me." You did your thing. So you're working their story, which is, I mean, it's crazy that you opened it. Like that's a huge opportunity.
And that was my legit first job as security.
Wow. Did you have to take a class or like certification?
So I had to get like my D license. So D license in security, you have to get that. It's like a 40-hour class, have, some courses and also some guidelines which you need to learn as far as with security. Get that, then you're able to be a security officer. Okay. I'm sorry, what was you said something else?
I was saying like, what was it like working there? Like, how did you said that was your first job? Like, how did?
So it was my first job. So it was actually my first legit job because my job before then, I worked at. So a lot of people don't know this. I worked at Space.
Oh, you did?
For one fucking day. Couldn't do it.
Why?
Bruh. It was too much, man. It was too much. So I don't know if you know this, but Space, you ever been there?
I've been there, yeah.
So you already know the vibes.
Yeah,
it's a great time. It's cool, if you're about that life. With devices and everything else too.
Yeah.
But I literally worked there the first Saturday that I worked there. It was from 9 p.m. It was my shift was supposed to be from 9 p.m. to 3 p.m. the next day.
Damn.
I couldn't last past 10 a.m. I'm sorry. Like I just told my boss, I was like, yo, like you're probably never gonna see me ever again. So it was just I couldn't, bro. Like just working there, standing up for like those long amount of hours, and then listening to that type of music and people, and people just be on drugs and going crazy and cracking out and all that stuff is like I couldn't do it. No. I couldn't do it. So he paid me cash that first day, grand opening, grand closing, and that was it. And I thought that was actually going to be like my last time ever working security up until like I had to work at Story.
So they didn't have a problem like, this guy Bishop, he worked here for one day and he quit. Like he wasn't calling or anything like it wasn't a big deal?
So that's a really good question because in hospitality, there's a such thing as like burning bridges.
Yeah.
So if you leave a certain organization the wrong way, or if you don't really, leave on good terms, like the word gets out.
Right.
I think because of how I did it and who was my boss at the time, shout out to David. I was just so sincere and just so transparent about it. And he looked at me, he knew that like I wasn't gonna be there forever. Yeah. And it wasn't like I just did the shift, I left and I never came back and I just like kind of dissed him. No, it was like me working from 9 p.m. to 10 a.m. I went straight to his office. I was like, I can't do this. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I can't work here no more. Like, I was just done. So he looked at me, he kind of smiled. He was like, all right, bro, don't worry about it. Yeah. So it's not necessarily about what you do, it's how you do it and how you treat people as well too. Mm-hmm. Like it's all about like how you actually make people feel as well too. Especially, I do think that, like first impressions is great, but I think as last impressions is also just as important as well too. Yeah. Because if you really, really just focus on how you make people feel from the last time they actually seen you, like that actually determines how you are going to be in their light and in their brain.
Absolutely.
So when I did that, I didn't like curse him out at him like, yo man, fuck this place, I'm done this and that. Nah, I was like, yo bro, respectfully, I am gone. Like for real. And after that, man, he was like, all right, cool. He gave me cash. He wasn't supposed to give me cash. He actually gave me cash, I believe, like out of his pocket because he knew that I was never going to step foot into Space working there ever again.
Yeah.
So, it never, that was a good question, but it never got back. Because I treated him with respect and I was just really candid, really raw.
I love that. I think that's one of the things that I think there's a saying like people don't remember what you say or what you did, but they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah, bro.
So as long as you can make them feel good. It's like, oh yeah, Bishop, I'm cool with
Yeah,
that.
and hospitality, I believe that's the foundation and the coup and the essence of that is of the essence of hospitality is like how it's emotion.
Yeah.
It's how you make people feel.
Yeah.
You know, like think about, the best restaurants or the restaurants that you went to that you always go to every single time, the clubs. Like there's millions of clubs all throughout the world, but why do you go to that venue specifically? It's because how they make you feel, how they treat you from the door. It starts from the security.
Yep.
It starts it starts and ends with security. Like how did security treat you when they were checking your ID? How he was patting you down. Like, did he pat you down with respect, or did he think that you like had a bunch of drugs on your shit and he freaking groped you? Like for real.
Was he smiling? Or was he
smiling, or was he just mean mugging and trying to make you feel uncomfortable, trying to maybe intimidate you so you won't necessarily get and want to go into the venue. Like how are you also treated with other security that's in the club? Also like the bartenders, how did the bartender pour your drink? How did she greet you? You know what I'm saying? Like, was she like, hey, listen, welcome to so-and-so, like what drink do you want? Or was she like, all right, bro. You had both. Literally, all right, bro. Yeah. Like, so it's really about how you make people feel so people can really just come, more than just once.
Absolutely.
So
I've been to Space one time, and it's funny, me and my friends joke like, that'll be the last time we go to, because it's just crazy. It wasn't really my
different
vibe.
strokes for different folks, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had some friends come in town. They really wanted to go, and we literally showed up at 3 a.m., stayed until, the sun came up. It was cool, nice experience, but yeah, not my cup of tea for sure.
Yeah, bro.
So you were doing private executive security.
Yes.
And then you made that transition into concierge services.
Yes.
Talk to me about that transition. What did it take? Like, I'm assuming you had a network very heavy, but when did you say, like, you know what? I want to start setting up these experiences for people.
So it was never my idea to begin with. I've always wanted to I just thought because of my size and because of my height and who I am, I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm outside of, cause I was doing private bodyguarding. I was also doing photo and video still. Okay. And so I was kind of like balancing the both. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be like a bodyguard forever or however it's going to be. Okay, cool. Until one day I was securing my client at this dinner party, and he looked at me and he's like, man, listen, like, you've been serving me for a very, very long time. You have this big presence about you. You really make me feel safe and everything else too. But I really believe that you're more than that. Like, have you ever thought about, doing like concierge? I was like, what the hell is concierge? Like, what is that? Like, he's like, bro, like, hear me out. So other than you just like securing people, but you can set up their trips. You can provide them transportation. You can book their reservations. You can actually curate the experience around, everything other than you just doing security. You can do everything for them. So I was just like, well, okay, that's kind of interesting. So I kind of looked it up, and I was like, okay, let me try this. And I've said this before, but like I'm gonna double down this again. The transition of people just really respecting me as a concierge host versus just me being security, that was one of the hardest things, bro, I've ever had to go through. It was so difficult from an identity standpoint. Right. You gotta understand, like, I've been wearing like black suits like all the time, and black this and black that. I'm 6'11", at that time 350, 360. Big boy, like guarding people and everything else too. So it's like just transition into like the person just like worried about like the safety to like, hey, here's the fun. Right. Like, right, smiling. It's like, dog, like, wait, what? And it was, bro, it was so agonizing because I had to like really, really correct and guide my clients and people who knew me, because everybody knew me as Marvel. I wasn't even called Bishop back then, but Marvel's my real name. Yeah. Marvel, the security guard. Hey, there's Marvel, he does security. Right. So like, it was literally like a fight and like just like a process of getting people to call me a host. Like, dog, that shit really, really, at times too, I was like, bro, like, am I just, and shout out to the people who are in just security, who are bodyguards, that are more qualified than me. I know all you guys. I work with all you guys. You know I love y'all to death. But you know, like, I wanted more than that. So I never ever want to say what I say about like just being security to just be like a downplay or like, you know, disrespect, you know, the real executive protection people who are here, like the dogs, you know. But for me, I just wanted more. And just to get people to call me a host or just to understand who I am as far as like more of an encompassing level, because my foundation is security. At the end of the day, I know that I can't get away from that. Security is the reason why I'm here right now, like why I'm here in this damn seat is because of security. But from a branding standpoint, and also just being able to be put in a position to actually serve people more on a overall level, I had to get people to understand, like, you know, I do more than just that. So it cost me. And it cost me a lot of money too, bro.
How?
Cost me a lot of money. Oh man, I can't believe I'm talking about this. This is crazy. So me transitioning from a security guard to a host, image is everything. So I can't say that I'm a host and I have bodyguards that do work with me and do work for me, and I have all these things, and then I have a suit and I have like a black suit on or whatever, and I'm like bodyguarding somebody else like the next day. And I'm also working with other security companies as well too, like providing security for them, you know? So image is literally everything. So people understand that, like, from a business owner standpoint and me owning that concierge company, like, you know, I'm here, you know, and I have to always just make sure that I'm always up there. So for me, just doing security all throughout, just for anybody, I couldn't do it.
Oh, so you had to turn people down.
I had to turn people down. I also had to like go through like, you know, a lot of heartache as far as like just holding on and understanding that I know, like, for instance, there were people that wanted me to do security for them during my transition, but I was trying to put them on to like my guys. They did not want to fucking hear it. They were like, nah, bro, we want you. But I'm like, bro, like, I'm not a security guard anymore. I do this. Now I understand that I am security at the, my foundation is security, but like overall I am a host. I provide the vibes. Like, you know, I'm always going to protect you. There's always a hybrid, but like, I couldn't be this person where I was taking care of VCs and taking care of finance people, and then spending $150,000 and me hosting them and getting them, you know, the experience and, like, you know, the girls and, like, you know, transportation and everything else too, and setting up everything, and then like doing security at a club the next day.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Right. So I have left a lot of money on the table to protect and also preserve my image, because I knew where I was going and I know where I'm heading right now. So a lot of times where I had to do without. There's a lot of times where I wasn't necessarily making a lot of money, but I understand that, you know, the vision of me being on that level is going to pay dividends for everybody else. So that was like a lot of like sacrifice that like I had to do up until this day.
Sure. How old were you when that guy had said, think about concierge service?
This was 2015, 2016. I'm 37. So I'll be 38 in December. 31?
Okay.
Yeah, 31-ish, 31, 30, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And then what was it that, or like, when did you make the decision to be like, you know what, I'm going to go for it. Like, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to make the necessary sacrifices. When did you come upon like that this decision?
At that time when the client,
him suggesting it, I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. I was like, all right, let me figure it out.
I like that. Cause sometimes people tell you things and it's like, almost like a sign from God, for lack of a better term. It's like, yeah, like why is he even bringing this up to me? You know, like, he must see something in me, and obviously there's something in myself that you were drawn to it. So it's just cool that you decided, you know what, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm still going to make it work, and I'm going to do the necessary sacrifices to get there.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me about the networking and figuring out you have all these, or getting the connections to create these experiences. How did that go?
Oh, man. Okay. That's like, that question has like 3 parts. So I'm trying to like navigate to see how I can actually like really answer that efficiently for you.
Sure.
So my first client that I've ever had, his name is Troy Gibson. I met him at Story when I was working there. I was doing security. And then he was the one that actually hired me for me to be his bodyguard. And I've known him since today. So from there on, he basically, introduced me to like all his clients, because he was from Atlanta. Okay. And his Atlanta people became my clients. And then after that, I was able to, really be sufficient on my own and be able to like, provide for myself. And then after that, I got out the clubs. I wasn't necessarily working at Story no more. I was just doing private bodyguarding. Then when I transitioned that into private concierge, I was like, okay, even though I'm not working at a club, I have to be really, really diligent with my time and my energy so it's not wasted. And I have a lot of access, and my reputation it precedes itself, and a lot of people know me, like everybody knows me, honestly. But I have to use that to my advantage. I'm like, okay, I can get to any club, I can get to any venue, never have to pay ever because of who I am. I have to use that shit to my advantage. So I started going to clubs on my off days. Like, so if I'm not working, if I'm not hosting, I'm out at the bars, not drinking. I mean, maybe just a little bit, but I'm like really, really, really going through the motions as far as like meeting new people for clients. Right. Now, I don't want to get into that too much. I think your question was more so on getting like what, like the partners. Kind
of like, I got the yacht guy. I got the
okay.
That.
Okay. So let's stay on. Let's get to that. Sure. So, honestly, it's just time. It's time, and also understanding when you're in the position to connect with people, you have to take full advantage of it. You have to be able to like really, really hit home with that. Yeah. So if I am hosting a client that got a yacht for 4 hours, right? Or 6 hours, whatever it is, and I didn't get that yacht. What I did was I'm like, you know what? Let me connect with the captain. Then after that, I just really build relationships with the people who I went to war with, honestly, when I used to work at Story. Yeah. So a lot of those people that I worked with at Story are still people who I still do business with. Sure. One person who does yacht brokering, that sells yachts. I still have his contact to this day. We're actually, working on a deal right now where it's going to be an 8-figure deal to hopefully sell a yacht.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes. But I was able to really, really, cultivate those relationships. And also trial and error too, bro, because, sometimes even though you want to be loyal to certain people when you connect with them, sometimes it doesn't necessarily work out. Right. So there's a lot of people who do what I do, and everybody has yacht plugs, everybody has exotic cars, but it's up to you to actually vet those people as a concierge host to see who's the best and who's not. Right. And you have to be able to put that process through them, and the process is that, okay, let me just give you a client. Let me see how you can actually handle that. Let me see how fast you can handle that, how efficient you are. How are you with money? Are you going to, without me asking, are you going to give me a little piece of the pie to see if we're going to break bread as well too? I'm not going to ask for it, but if you are cool, I'm going to keep you around. If not, Okay, you're just out here for yourself and you're just selfish.
Right.
Also, you have to really see like how people are, if they're selfless or if they're selfish, as far as like overcharging for certain things. You know, you gotta go through that as well too. So there's a lot of different ways to actually vet people. But then if you have to find somebody that's new, you know, go to networking events, go where, you know, where the rich people actually hang out as well too, because those people who you actually want to connect with that actually does other services, they should be there as well too.
Right.
So, you know, that's in a gist, that's what it is.
Sure. Yeah, because I can imagine, you know, you might get a request for something and you haven't vetted the person yet. Mm-hmm. How do you go about like making sure you get somebody that you can trust, or what does that process look like?
By going through the process to see if you can trust them. Like,
you gotta
that's as simple as it is.
Yeah.
Like, how can you actually see if you can actually trust a person if you don't
try it?
Yeah. You know, because look, and this is not just for concierge. This is honestly just for anybody who's an entrepreneur or whatever, or a business owner, or if you want to, you know, being whatever it is. Everything is your fault.
Yeah.
Even if it's not, it is, because I should have known better. So to just absolve yourself from the hurt of that person letting you down, put all the blame and put all the onus on you. That's what I do all the time. When you're the number one, you're the last line of defense. Yeah. So everything's your fault anyway, if shit doesn't go right the way it's supposed to.
You know what? This question just popped into my head.
Go ahead.
This might be a little aside, and maybe you can honestly shoot it down if you want. For being a security guy, what do you think about that assassination attempt on Trump that we just had? Because to me, I'm a civilian, and I'm just like, all right, I'm looking at the map. There's only like one building in a mile that anybody could have got on. How did they not have it secured? What do you think about that?
The Secret Service is a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I have one of my best friends who worked with the Secret Service for over 2.5 years.
Like he was a Secret Service agent?
No, but he works in law enforcement. Okay. And he's very, very high up in it, in that ranks. Okay. And he worked with, worked with Biden, and he also worked with Secret Service. Got it. We were actually talking about about that whole entire incident. He was like, bro, I worked with them for Secret Service. They are a fucking joke.
That's really unsettling.
The top team that is actually supposed to be
elite,
the creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, the alpha and the omega of like security.
Yeah.
And then you got people
fumbling with their Glock.
Yeah, you know.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm all about equal. Oh man, I don't want to get into that, but I probably fuck it. I probably will. Okay. All I have to say is that there's just certain jobs to certain people, and certain people should not actually have jobs. That's certain jobs. And the women that were actually at that were just not qualified whatsoever.
And so I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm like, this lady is shorter than me, and Trump is like, big guy.
Bro, listen. And I know some badass fucking women that can put some dudes on top of their head, but I don't know why they weren't the women at that rally, right? Because you got pandemonium and craziness and people going berserk, and you have this lady literally trying to, like, you know,
putting her glasses.
Bro, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Get out of here. Why? There is a picture. There's a picture of one of the ladies that's there, literally like scared for her life, versus dudes that's actually in front of her, actually, you know, doing their job. And, you know, it's like, bro, at the end of the day, man, it's like, sometimes you got to do like a lot more vetting, man or woman, because that was just an embarrassment, I think. And then people who saying that shit was fake, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
That shit is real as it gets. Bro, we almost really saw a former president get his head taken off.
That shit would have been awful. Like, I'm really scared for the country. If he would have died, it would have been bad.
Real quick. Can I show you something real quick?
Yeah, show me something.
Bro.
Because, I mean,
when I saw this, I almost lost my shit, bro. Watch this. It'll take 2 seconds.
No problem. I just couldn't believe it, man. If he doesn't turn his head.
Click on this. That shit shows you how close that bullet was. Boom. Bro.
That's insane.
Bro.
No, that video was nuts. Like, what are the chance? Like, that.
Bro, man,
That's
when
insane.
when God protects you, ain't nothing can. And I don't give a damn what type of evil, what kind of demons, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If God wants you alive, God's gonna have you alive. If God wants to call you to glory, He gonna call you to glory. So, I mean, Trump is one of the chosen one, man. I'm sorry, it is what it is, and it was unfortunate because that bullet actually hit somebody else,
And they died.
and then they died.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's just nuts. Like, he should never been able to get that shot off, is my issue.
Yeah.
There's no way.
you want to see something else too?
Yeah.
Wait, let me see.
I mean, like, Trump is literally this versus this, and he's dead. Oh, that's the shooter.
Yep,
Yeah.
got his ass.
He should have not got a shot off. I mean, it's crazy.
There is a war that is happening right now that is conscious and also subconscious and also spiritual as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is real, bro. Like, this is some real shit. You know, if they want you, listen, I don't know what your political beliefs are. I don't know what it is, but regardless of the fact, there's the 3 levels of when the powers that be, when they want you out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, they either try to cancel you, to try to make you seem that you're crazy, right?
Yeah.
But then if you still have your audience, you still have your crowd, and you still have your people that still believe you, what do they do after that?
Smear you?
They try to take you to jail.
Oh, jail. Yep. And then they try to kill you.
And then after that,
And we've seen that. We've seen Trump already get the racist. He a bigot. He's this. He's that. Boom. Now he a convicted felon. There's only one more place to go.
Bro, yeah. Same thing with Andrew Tate.
Right.
Andrew Tate is on his, God forbid, he's on his last leg.
I think he's talked about that too. Like,
He has. He had a whole thing right after the assassination attempt. So,
have you met Andrew Tate?
no, I have not met Andrew Tate. No, not yet.
So switching back to your business, what do you say, or what is like obviously, business owners are always trying to grow. How do you think about growth in your industry? Is it getting bigger and bigger clients? Is it starting to hire people that work for you and do their own thing, or how does that look?
As far as what? As far as
growing your business as a concierge.
how do I grow my business?
Yeah, like, what are you thinking of, like, 5-10 years from now? What is it going to look like?
So things are pivoting, things are changing. I would say that the clubs are becoming a little bit different now, especially since after the pandemic. Owners and also hospitality groups have actually focused on more dinner parties. The Marriotts, the El Toucans, the Queens, the Swans. Clubs, I'm not saying that clubs are dying, but we definitely need to get a lot more creative on how to actually stay relevant, because people don't necessarily care about like right now, especially so everything's like dictated with the market. The market, I do believe next year we'll probably get back into maybe 2008, maybe 2009, where we had a big surge and people were, spending money. Now we're kind of like in a little bit of a stance with the market, where it's like, it's okay, but it's not really okay. People are kind of like holding their purses a lot more than they should. And money is not really being spent as much. AI is definitely a big factor, I do believe, with hospitality. But at the end of the day, going back to what we were talking about in the beginning, it's all about how you make people feel and the emotional factor and that feeling that you get and that emotional intelligence that you can actually have. And I don't think that can actually be I don't think that can be replaced. I don't think ever, in my personal opinion. I could be wrong. Yeah. Maybe some crazy shit's freaking made with AI and it is what it is. But it's the human connection, man. The human connection is definitely very, very important to stay alive in this business. And also how you are represented and how your image is and how your reputation is and how you treat people as well. And then it's not necessarily about when you get them, it's also about how you retain them as well. Like, how can you present yourself, even though if you're as a luxury, how can you present yourself as a necessity? Whereas like, I'm trying to get to a point where now we're like, and when people step foot in Miami, they have to hire me. If I don't have Bishop, if I don't have his team, and I don't have his company, I'm doing Miami wrong. And I'm also based in 30 locations too. So it's like, also in other locations as well. Nice. Like if we don't have Bishop, the brand,
it ain't the same.
It ain't the same. I've always said there's a difference between a regular reservation and a Bishop reservation, And the next 5, maybe 6 years, I would say, well, me personally, I do have a graduation factor with me. My company is going to be around until after I die. That's the plan. Like I'm going to be making my concierge into $1 billion empire. But me personally, I know where my growth is. And within the next, maybe even 2 to 3 years, maybe 5, I will be focusing more on mergers and acquisitions. So my goal is to become the next Robert Smith. That's where I would love to head out.
Got it. So you want to kind of get out of so almost like the concierge service will basically be running itself, and then you're getting more into like making deals with people. And,
I mean, I do it already.
Yeah.
I do it already. So, and I don't want to say that concierge companies or people who are hosts, it has a shelf life, but the difference, the issue is that when you get older, your clients get older as well too.
Right.
So, my clients, like I have different clients now. Like like my first client, Troy Gibson, he's, say he'll probably kill me when I say this, but like it is what it is. He's a little older now. Like he's older, you know what I'm saying? He got the, grays and everything else too, Silver Fox,
Fox.
Yeah, bro, elder statesman.
Yeah.
So as your clients grow and as your clients mature, your company also has to mature as well too. If you want to stay within those type of clients. Right. Now, if you want to maybe stay in that, maybe the demographic of ages, that's fine. But for me, you get older as well. It's like me being 40, 45, 50 years old, I don't see myself hosting 25, 30-year-olds like that. I see my team basically handling that, if that makes sense. Yeah. But until the day I die, I will be nurturing and also fostering my relationships into bigger ordeals.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
One thing you mentioned was AI. How do you see AI factoring into concierge service? Because me personally, I don't really see it, because it's like you need to have that personal connection for people to say like, I'm setting this up, etc. But what do you see?
So I'm actually developing an app for concierge, which I would have to talk about that.
Fair enough.
Outside of the pod,
right?
But yeah,
you might have to come back and launch it.
Yeah, maybe. But what I will say is that as far as so I serve the 1%. So my company, we're very, very white gloved, but there's also a level of service that is more standard, that can be for the masses, that can also be automated.
I see. So it gives be levels of that. That makes sense.
Yes, sir.
So eventually, I do want to be able to be in that echelon. When I make my $100 million, I'm
absolutely.
Like, let's do something. Give me like a a typical, maybe weekend. It's Art Basel. I'm gonna be here like 4 or 5 days. What do you typically set up for clients?
So we do everything from A to Z. So if we're talking about from literally A, we set up the private plane. We get you guys, let's say it's about 8 or 10 people. Make sure you guys got the right plane stays. If you're coming from maybe LA to like Miami, go from LA to Miami, go to FBO, which is like, aviation spot in Opelika. Pick you up with some Sprinters if you want to, some limo Sprinters, maybe some Urises, maybe some Maybachs, depending on what you want. Then after that, then we greet you, with your best champagne or your bottle of alcohol as well. Take you to the hotel. After that, then we'll go to one of the more premier restaurants, either maybe Komodo or maybe even Queen, maybe Poppy Steak. All depends what you want to do. Then after that, we'll probably go back to the suite and also have a private party as well. Invite, some entertainment.
Great. Absolutely. I love entertainment.
Some entertainment, you know what I'm saying? Then after that, I would say, because last year I had a group that came from like Tuesday to like Monday the next day. And we'll also get you VIP passes to every single art gallery in Art Basel as well, because I have partnerships with all of them.
Nice.
So after that, then take you to all of them as well. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Maybe you buy some art pieces, maybe not, we'll see. I also get invited to, a very, very exclusive mansion party maybe on Star Island as well. That can also be a factor as well. And it's off to the races after that, honestly. So, the dinners, the experiences, the brunches, the private parties. Also too, if I know what kind of business you're in, because we also have a corporate network within our business, which is kind of like the merchant acquisition side, where if I know that you are a man that wants to maybe invest into a company, maybe let's say you want to invest into like a medical spa startup app. Sure. And I have somebody who actually has that app, I introduce you guys.
Got it.
And see what happens.
Or maybe
and that's what the connector, the ultimate connector. Bro. I always make connections for everybody.
That's cool. Yeah, maybe there's somebody who wants to invest in consumer products and they love protein cookies.
For real. I have to try it first though. I don't know. I have to try it first. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna let you try it for sure.
Yeah.
I love that. No, that's really cool. I really appreciate you kind of letting me into your world and learn about this. I think this is absolutely fascinating, and it's interesting to see how you can start off being security and go to eventually ending up doing mergers and acquisitions. It's just crazy how your life can go from point A to point Z in a short amount of time.
All I would say is that when you develop a network that's over $3 trillion, you better fucking do something about it. Like you got to do something with it, bro. You got to do something with it. You know what I'm saying? And that is actually the advice that I actually would give like all of like the people that are in the industry. You are literally serving most of the time. It can be the elite, but usually it's like either upper middle class or middle upper class or like upper class. Like people who would actually spend money, if that makes sense. So if you're just tapping into these millionaires, other than actually showing them a good time, see how you can actually upgrade their quality of life. And that's exactly what I did. Yeah.
That's huge. I appreciate your time. We can wrap up. Is there anything, that was a great tip that you got. Is there anywhere, let people know where they can find you, website, Instagram, or anything?
Yeah. So all socials at Marvel Bishop. Website is bishopexecservices.com. We provide services for the 1%. Like I said, if you're not the 1%, we make you feel like the 1%. And YouTube, Marvel Bishop TV as well too. Going to be relaunching my YouTube on all things lifestyle with me, Bishop, Concierge, luxury, also my podcast as well. Having conversations with high elite 1%ers. And yeah, if you need me, I'm here. I'm not a hard person to find. only the best.
Absolutely. Bishop, appreciate you. Thank
Appreciate you, brother.